All right, so we're here in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm with the great Chef Simpson.
Definitely a pleasure, my brother.
Always. For another episode of Let's Talk Immigration. All right, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Immigration, and I am back at Chef Simpson's restaurant with the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Chef Simpson. The last time you saw us, we were cooking, but here we're actually going to be talking more, trying to get a little bit more of Chef Simpson's sauce.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Yes.
To really understand his journey, the entrepreneur in him, and just everything about Chef Simpson. So
yes.
Thank you for taking the time out.
Definitely a pleasure, and I've been waiting on this moment because I know the last time you were here, we cooked, we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
And the interaction and the information was so profound. People was getting all the information that they need. So we definitely had to come back to do this sit down and eat some food.
Absolutely.
And have a good look at chop it up.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, the food is definitely one of the benefits of coming here.
Yes.
By the way, if you have not tried one of Chef Simpson's restaurants, you have to. The food,
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not just being biased, but it's a good blend between the Jamaican culture,
yeah.
and
The fusion crossover. We call it fusion crossover. Yeah.
So since we're on that topic, what inspired you as a chef? Like, where did your culinary background and start come from?
Yeah, my culinary background comes from out of poverty. You know, I fell in love with cooking out of poverty. So there was never food at home. I had to go to the neighbor's house and beg for food.
Really?
So by going to the neighbor's house and beg for food, I saw how standing at the back door step, and back in those days in Jamaica, you say you got people, you had to anchor.
Yes.
So we used to got people, you had to anchor, beg some food, offer to clean up their kitchen and clean up their yard and do all the little yard work just for some food. Single parent home. My dad is not there, just my mom worked 2 jobs, so it's just me and my sister. And that was how I fell in love with food. When I saw how food was bringing family together in great conversation and interaction, I say, you know what, since I never had this at home, I want to spend the rest of my life recreating this.
Okay.
So there's 2 sides to it.
Yeah.
There is the wanted food to eat, that's number 1. So I figure more or less if I became a chef, there's always food in the kitchen.
Okay.
You know, so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go into food and nutrition. At least by me being in food and nutrition, there is food to eat in the kitchen. And also, by me becoming a chef, I can also recreate this, what I saw with family together that I've never had at my house. So that's why even for me, when I'm here at the restaurant, customer service means so much to me. Seeing people having a great time and interacting with friends and family and enjoying my creation of the food it's like a win-win for me.
Okay.
So 2 things is happening. I'm feeding people, I'm providing employment, but at the same time I'm seeing family togetherness.
Okay. Well, where in Jamaica did you grow up?
Clarendon. I was born in Clarendon. Left Clarendon when I was about 11 and went to St. Anne.
Okay. And did you do any type of cooking classes, cooking certifications, like at the high school level?
Yes. When I was at Marcus Garvey, I went to St. Anne's Bay Primary.
Yeah.
And then from St. Anne's Bay Primary, I went to Marcus Garvey. When I went to Marcus Garvey Technical High School in St. Anne, I interned at Club Caribbean and Sandals for food and nutrition.
Wow.
So when I graduated from school,
Yeah.
Club Caribbean offered me a job before my graduation.
So you were around, what, 17?
That was around 17 when I
17,
started working. And then from there I started working on the cruise ship.
Okay, so I mean, legitimately from the teenage years, you knew in your heart that this is what you wanted to do.
Yes. And I stayed consistent on it. And
So
I
you found the
believe
internship,
Yes.
and the internship prepared you in terms of the network and also gave you additional skills, right?
And gave me the skills that I needed to master the craft.
Okay. So so I know in Jamaica, they do a really good job with having like technical schools and different type of programs that somebody who don't want to go the traditional academic route.
Yes.
Did you take advantage of those?
They had, at that time, they had Art Academy,
Okay.
where after you graduated from Marcus, you can then go to culinary school, which at that time was Art Academy.
Yeah.
Or if you go to UTech in Kingston. I live in St. Anne, so Art Academy would have been my next option. But what I did, because I started working before I graduated, I basically catapulted right into a job, which is on-the-job training. So me now working, it's the best training I could have gotten instead of went into heart. Because now I'm getting on-the-job training at a hotel, which is hands-on. I am working, I'm physically working, I'm collecting a paycheck. But now I'm training from all these other chefs who are well experienced in the hotel.
And I'm glad you brought up that point. For a lot of my followers and listeners, a lot of them ask me, you know, I'm in high school now, I'm in college, what do I do next professionally? And I always say do an internship, because an internship,
it's preparing.
It's going to prepare you, it's going to put you into that network, and you'll be able to get hands-on training experience, but most importantly, you'll be able to, you are now better suited to make a decision, is this the career path for you that I wanted to go down? So that's really, really insightful, and I'm glad that you brought up that. So, okay, so you got the job, and then where did you start from?
Well,
you said Royal?
No, Club Caribbean.
Club Caribbean.
And this part of this conversation is so tricky because it shows you when opportunity comes, a lot of time it comes with challenges. So when I was at Club Caribbean, I left Club Caribbean and I went to Sandals in Mamadi. I started working at Sandals, and then they were giving out cruise ship job. That was when cruise ship, they were recruiting people in Jamaica. And that was when Joe Darkins, that was his name, who was doing the recruiting for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. They were doing interviews in St. Anne. I finished working, and one of my friends said to me, oh, you know that they're giving out ship job in St. Anne's Bay, in Lime Hall? Why you don't go down there and take the test, and because you're good at what you do? And I said, I don't have time for that. And then the guy said, you're not doing anything, we're just standing here talking. And I said, all right, let me go down there. I went down there, classroom set up. Joe Dawkins was there. You had to pay for the class. He said to me, okay, you get 25 minutes to take the test. And after the test, you take the test, they'll call you. So I went, sit there for the 25 minutes. They gave you the paper. I did the test in probably about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And when I did it, I turned in the paper, and the gentleman said to me, you sure you're finished? And I said, yeah, it's finished. It was probably about like 50 questions. And I said, yeah, I'm finished. He said, okay, you want to check it again? I'll give you another minute to check it. I said, no, I'm good. It's finished. Turned in the paper. Forget about it for about 6 months. Went back to work. Forget it. You just full of the paper and did the test and went back to work. Never think nothing of it. One day I was at work at Club Caribbean at Sandals. I hear them paging me. They say there's someone at the front desk to me. So I went to the front desk. I saw this two Caucasian guys in a suit standing there, and I'm like, wait, is this a police? Am I getting arrested? Because these guys don't look like they work for the hotel.
Exactly, So
now I'm a little bit worried, and my hotel manager was there, and they identified themselves, take out their ID, and they said, oh, we're from, no, they asked me, they said, you just took a test a couple months ago to work with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line? And I said, yeah. And they took out their ID, and they said, we're from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and we were sent basically specially to get you.
Wow.
And I said, what? And they said, yeah, you passed the test 100% with the less time in the entire class of who took the test that day.
Wow.
And Royal Caribbean Cruise Line said, we need this guy. Because they logged the time as to how long it took you to do the test. At that time, I ain't got no passport, no visa, nothing. I've never traveled.
Never traveled before.
The only thing I saw was playing up in the sky and wondering where them I go.
Exactly.
You know? So the guy said, I explained to the guy, I said, wow, I'm so honored, but I've never traveled before. I don't have no passport, nothing. They said, all you got to do is just say yes, and we'll take care of everything. And my hotel manager wrote right there, and he said, yeah, go ahead, give it a try. You know, if you don't like it, you can always come back for your job. And I said yes, and they left with me.
Oh wow! So they actually
I didn't even
physically
went home.
What actually physically
They
took you?
left. We went to Kingston the same day. We did the fingerprint. We did the fingerprint. We did the passport. We did the medical. We did everything. The only obstacle I run into, they said that I have to buy my ticket.
Yeah.
Because they were having problem with recruiting people. They come up and they run off the job, and the company was losing money. So they say I would have to buy my own ticket. Me not the money, my mother not the money to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
But anyway, I told my mom. My mom said, all right, Patrick, don't worry about it. My mom called my biological father. He turned it down, live in Miami, turned it down, say he don't have no money, and I have all negative things to say about cruise ship job.
Yeah.
My mom said, don't worry about it, I'll call a friend. She called a friend who lives in Canada. The friend booked the flight. When I got to the airport and board this big thing that I used to look at
Yeah.
and walk up, nervous, little 18-year-old cranky black boy, I walk up on the plane, nervous. There were two guys with me. When we enter the plane, and this was my first class or whatever, walk into the plane, show the ticket.
Show your ticket.
The two guys walk to the back of the plane, and I'm there standing. And the lady look at me and go, oh, you're right here. And no, I'm still nervous because I don't know why I'm separated.
And you've never been on a plane before?
I've never been on a plane before. Don't know why I'm separated. They gone way down at the back of the plane, and I'm sitting right here by myself. Do you know that it's when I got off the plane and got to Miami? When the guy them come off of the plane, the guy looked at me and said, oh, that's how you roll. You travel first class.
Oh, so they even flew you first class?
First class. The person who booked the flight booked me first class.
Wow.
So I came to America first class.
Wow. So, I mean, it's an interesting story. I mean, some people would say it's luck, right?
Yes.
But a lot of people don't understand that on the journey to success, a lot of times it's not luck. You were prepared for that moment.
You were prepared for that moment.
Right?
Yeah.
Your journey from using your situation, right, in terms of the way how you grew up,
yes.
it propelled you or pushed you to get into food and how to make food and serve food because you had a lack of food.
Yes, yes.
You did the necessary training for during school, and you did an internship, so now you have the skills.
Yes, yes.
Right? And you harnessed that skill, so now you took this test.
Yes.
And you killed the test.
And you killed the test.
But so it wasn't luck in your journey.
It wasn't luck because
you were prepared for that moment.
I was prepared for it, and it still comes with little obstacles.
Of course, of course.
You know, just like that, you got to jump through, and it's
yeah.
Even though now I have the B2 visa at that time, where you can travel back and forth, you're working on the ship. I worked with them for 11 years, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Mm-hmm. Started out as line cook, and when I leave after 11 years, I was executive chef.
Wow.
You know, so, and then with all of that, you have the V2 visa. That's how we end up now, and that's why this conversation is so great, because then that's when I came and eventually fall out of status.
Mm. And I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, in my practice, I see these from both sides. So one of the common issues is the immigrants that come up on the crew visa. So now there's a special C1 crew visa which allows you to enter the US, but specifically just to work on a cruise ship. But what a lot of people don't understand is that now the crew visa, if you enter the US on a crew visa, any type of visa that starts with C,
yes.
If you decide to run off or if you decide to stay, you are barred from adjusting your status. So even if you get married, you have to still leave the country and file a waiver. You cannot adjust your status on a crew visa. And sometimes some people will do consultations with me and they don't believe me until they get denied. You cannot. So if you enter the US now on a crew visa, the C108, and I'll verify the exact number, but if you enter on that crew visa now and you try to adjust your status, meaning you either get married or you're trying to change from that status,
Yeah.
you cannot do it while in the U.S. Even if you get married to a U.S. citizen, you have to leave the U.S., return to Jamaica or wherever you're from,
and do the filing there.
and do the filing there, then return. So that's one of the...
That's a little risky.
And
That's the thing with people. People
Yeah.
are being like,
And,
I don't know if I want a chance to go back to Jamaica and
Yeah.
try to do it.
But
It's
no,
not a
they're stuck.
guarantee because I'm already here.
Exactly, but no, they're stuck. Like
They're
that
stuck
crew
because
visa,
there's nothing you can do.
there's nothing you can do. You have to, unless you switch to another type of petition, which waives, which
crew.
waives that type of admission, such as a VAWA. Like if you
Okay.
were to get married and you are abused by a U.S. citizen, the VAWA does allow you to waive that restriction that the crew visa has.
Okay.
Yeah, and then now in your situation, in entering on a B1, B2 visa, again, you know, it's so common. People get stuck in saying that, you know, I don't want to go back. You know, let me
Yeah.
do additional things, and then now they fall out of status,
Yeah.
and then
Because
that's where your journey became
That's where
challenging.
my journey became challenging because then when I eventually fall out of status,
Yeah.
here I am now underneath the radar. You have this skill and this talent that you
Yes.
have harnessed over the years,
Yeah.
but you're still limited as to what you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I first came here 25 years ago, here I am, no proper document, nothing, but I'm going up into these hotels, I'm handing in resume.
And this is
Not
in
think-
New York?
in
Is
New
it
York.
Okay, this is
Not
in New York.
thinking to myself like, okay, this is not like Jamaica where you're gonna go there and they're gonna hire you.
Yeah.
They're gonna ask you for your social, they're gonna ask you for your ID, they're gonna ask you for work permit. I didn't know none of that. I just know that I needed a job. And that was when I found out at one of my first interview, they asked me for my social, they asked me for my ID, work permit, and I'm like, wow, I'm looking at the wrong places for work.
Yeah.
This is not gonna happen.
But in your mind, you're seeing yourself like, yo, I mean,
I'm this great chef.
I'm this great chef.
Yes.
I got recruited here. I was executive chef. I mean, you should want me. I am better than a lot of these people here.
Yes, yeah. But that without the proper document, that don't
Yeah.
mean nothing. That don't mean all your skill don't mean nothing. So I stayed out of status for almost 5 years, and then I got married. And when I got married, got my green card, got my work permit, then I can do certain things. But one of the challenging thing, and things have so changed because being out of status 20 years ago,
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more easier now because I find people get so many opportunities. It was difficult back then when you're out of status because that's when ICE and immigration, they were creeping up people left, right, and center.
And that was
So
at
you
the
did-
peak of 9/11.
Yes, that was at the peak of 9/11.
9/11, yeah.
Right in 9/11.
Yeah.
So every little thing was risky.
Yeah.
Just applying for a job. That's when you used to hear that ICE would come up in the restaurant or wherever you work and ask
Yeah.
for people with IDs and all of that. So at that time, it was very risky.
But one thing that I've noticed with being in New York, just having the office here in New York and having more clients, New York has been labeled a sanctuary state,
Yes.
right? Because unlike Florida, right, in New York, you can be out of status, you can be undocumented, and you are able to still get an ID, a driver's license, and then so many jobs are available to you that would not be available to you
Yeah.
without the proper documentation. I mean, what are your thoughts as New York as a city for immigrants?
For immigrants, New York, I think there's, because of the fact there's so many opportunity here and the sanctuary city that New York is, because even for me here with the restaurant, I've seen so many people come, I don't know, when they say they have a bank account,
Yeah,
they have an ID, but at the same time they're out of status.
yeah,
You know, so I always trying to figure out as the way. I remember back then you couldn't get an
can't
ID.
do it. Yeah,
You couldn't get a bank account.
yeah,
So how does that happen? And that's a good question to ask because I know a lot of people want to know this. You're out of status. How do you go about getting a bank account and the fear that they have in presenting themselves to try to get an ID?
yeah.
Is there anything for them to fear in trying to get a bank account? What do you need? or the fear of getting an ID? Is there anything you're presenting yourself? Because
Yeah.
you're presenting yourself to someone to say,
Uh,
put my information in the system.
Yeah.
I need an ID, and I live here and here. Where is
Correct. Yes,
the nervousness in that?
So again, it's still state specific, right?
Yeah.
So in Florida, you can open up a bank account with an ITN number or just a valid passport, but you cannot get an ID if
In
you're
Florida.
in Florida if you're out of status, right? And
Okay.
that is the same with many of the red states,
Okay.
right? However, like New York, California, and several other states, you are able to get an ID regardless of your immigration status, and you are also able to open a bank account. But there shouldn't be a fear because it's a state issue, right?
Okay.
You are not committing anything federal. But what I wanted to ask you, as now a businessman, an entrepreneur, you know, obviously you're in a different tax bracket now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the people who in New York, they're saying, you know, immigrants are now a problem because now they are taking jobs from Americans, they are using public funds, they are also squatting and taking over taking over apartments and houses and creating issues. What are your thoughts now that you have now crossed over? You are successful, but you're paying a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
Has your mindset shifted to those people who think that?
No, my mindset hasn't shifted towards where I look at immigrants as taking away jobs. Because one thing that I realize here, I go to Restaurant Depot and I go to Home Depot, and I see a lot of immigrants, Hispanic, Africans, all outside Home Depot.
Yeah.
Wanted a job, want to do something, whatever. Even for me, sometimes I'll ask them to come and do something for me. What I don't see out there, I don't see Caucasians out there. I don't see a lot of different cultures out there. And I see a lot, this city and New York and multiple cities is built on the back of immigrants.
100%.
Like myself.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I was an immigrant. So once upon a time, one of those same person who we look at as immigrant who's going to be the person who's going to develop themselves into becoming upright citizen, own company, own business, and they're going to turn around and employ multiple other people just like myself. I have 110 staff.
I was just about to ask you that.
And-
So you employ 110 people.
110 people
Wow.
that is giving back to society.
Yeah.
They're working, they're paying taxes, they're being a part of productive in help building the city. And it's coming from the back of one immigrant,
Yeah.
which was me.
Yes.
So this is kind of how I look at it, and this is how you see all these buildings, all these high-rise going up all over the place. If you go there and you creep up all of the immigrants, all these fields where they're working, who's going to do the job?
100%. And you know
So
that,
they play a key
key
role in
role.
the development of just society in New York and any other state.
Yeah.
If you take them away, trust me, things will just come to a pause. So I don't think they're taking away job. You know, just like you hear someone say the other day, that's the black job. It's not a
the
black, job.
Yeah. No.
It's work. Everybody want to work.
Yeah.
And if somebody don't pick up your garbage and sweep your street and do the work that me and you drive past the guy on the bridge hanging from a little string trying to work on the bridge, who's going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the statistics show that, I mean, immigrants are 4 times more likely to be entrepreneurs
Yes.
because they take more risks in their job field. A lot of times they come either more skilled or more educated, and a lot of that is because they know what they're coming from, but they also know what they can offer here.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so now you elevated from the little boy in Clarendon to getting the job, getting the internship, being chosen, being flown first class here, started as a line chef all the way to executive chef. When did it dawn on you that I have to start my own business? Like, have my own restaurant?
Well, as a chef in any career that you're in, if you're a well-established attorney, once upon a time you'll have someone who were once a paralegal, you were in the office, you're passionate about your craft.
Yeah.
You see yourself always investing your time into building other person and other business. And you say, you know what, one day I want to own my own. So being the chef that I am, from ever since I say, you know what, I want to open my own restaurant. I want to open my own restaurant. And in the middle of COVID, the pandemic, June 2020, was when this location became available.
And this location, you mean Brooklyn?
Brooklyn location.
Brooklyn location.
When everywhere was still shutting down, I took a chance on this. I look at it, 10,000 square feet. Everybody was like, oh my God, you're crazy. You don't see the whole world is shutting down and you opening up business. And I'm saying, you trying to stay in the pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm preparing to come out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we opened 2021, February 2021, when the governor gave the go-ahead for indoor dining Valentine's Day. That was when we opened. And from the moment we opened, it's just been a blessing from blessing. The restaurant seats over 350. You have
And
to
by the
make
way, you're
reservations.
next door to the
Next door to Barclays Center,
to the Barclays Center where the Nets play, right?
where the Nets play.
Yeah.
We are Brooklyn Nets. So it's been a journey since, but it just tells you that if you don't give up on your dream, be your number one cheerleader.
Yeah.
Get up every day and just keep pushing. You know, a lot of stuff that you go through in your life is basically building you for tough.
Yes.
Because the things that I went through when I was growing up, I feel like if I never went through those, I would have broken a long time ago.
100%.
Because I felt like God put me through that to say, okay, Patrick,
Yeah.
I'm not just going to give you a little restaurant on the corner somewhere.
Yeah. So hold on. So this location that we're in today, you open like this, or you were in another location?
No, I open like
You
this.
open like this.
I open
wow.
like
So
this.
you never start small.
You never
You
don't.
start big.
You start big.
10,000
go big,
square feet.
Go big or go home.
Wow. That's
And-
impressive. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know. Because normally there's some
You
sort
think
of
I want like a
progression.
patty shop down the corner
And then you
transition?
progress.
Nah.
No, you just open big. Wow.
I just
wow.
open big. And when I open it, a lot of people was like, oh, you're going to get people inside here? You don't see how big this place is?
Yeah.
Because especially for us, the culture,
Yeah.
Jamaican, we think, okay, when we think restaurant, we think one way you have a cringe up
Cringe
and
up.
there's not a lot of space to
Yes.
dine. But when they come in here, they're like, wait, this is a Jamaican guy open this monstrosity of a restaurant
Yeah.
on the corner of prime location
Yeah.
in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, New York.
Where am I going to find people put in there?
Yeah.
And now they realize they can't even get in.
All right. So what are some of the challenges as an entrepreneur that you still face today?
As an entrepreneur, one of the things that I know is, and I said this the other day to someone, I said, having a dream is the easy part. Executing it,
Yeah.
that's where the challenges come from. Because when I say executing it, that's where the challenges come from. Because after you open the business, staying consistent and delivering the service, whatever the service is that you're going to deliver, you're going to need people.
Yeah.
And you're going to need people. And I remember Tyler Perry said this. Tyler Perry said, on your way to accomplishing your dream, there's other people that becomes a part of your dream and tied into it. The difficult part is getting them to see the vision and executing it behind your back. Executing it
Yeah.
when you're not there in the same way. That's one of the challenges that I face. So you look for people who are passionate about what they do. If it's the host, she's passionate about customer service.
Yeah.
Same thing with server. The server is passionate about being a people person, customer service, know how to interact. When you hire your chefs, you hire someone who's passionate about cooking. Even when I interviewed a chef, I said, let me see your Instagram page, or let me see some of your food picture. You can be a chef in my kitchen and you can't show me
That's
one
true.
picture or one Instagram post
That's a good one.
that you make of a fried egg. That tells me that you're not the chef that I want in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, because once you're passionate about something, you're gonna you're gonna take a picture of something. You're gonna do something
That's a
to
really
show
good
how
one.
much you love your craft. You know, so it's staying on top of your business, staying on top of all the legal aspect that deal with it,
Yeah.
staying on top of even people that is working within your company and within your business. They want to see you do good, but not better than them.
That's so true.
And
That's
they
so-
will stay from within, collect a paycheck, and tear you down while
Yeah.
they're in it. But then you can't figure out why.
Yeah.
Because I put food on your table. I help you to pursue your dream, because if you're going to school, you want to be an actress, whatever you're doing, I'm making that possible for you.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always tell my staff here, I said, whenever time you feel like this is not for you,
Yeah.
just say the word and I will help you along the way and move on.
Amen.
But don't stay within
Yeah.
and become a cancer,
Cancer.
in destroying my dream
100%. Yeah.
for whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, but you can tell them, but
Yeah. And you know, as a law firm owner, I've experienced the same thing. You know, I remember when I started, and I named it Sekou Clarke Law Group,
Yes.
right? And people laughed at me and said, "Hey, you have to have more than one person to be
Yeah.
a law group," but they didn't see the vision.
they didn't see the vision.
And
Yeah.
I remember when I grew it to 5-6 employees, there was a turning point where, you know, some of the staff, they didn't see the vision as to being in different locations, you know, offering every type of immigration, and a couple of them became cancers, and that
Yeah.
was one of the biggest
Wow.
teaching moments for me, in having to let go almost half of the staff and just completely start over, which propelled me to where the firm is today, where now you can't just be an average employee. You
Yeah.
can't just be a person that is here just to pick up a check. You have to be passionate about
Yeah.
immigration the way how I am. You have to be passionate about providing a service, and
Yes.
people don't understand that until they have their own business
Yes.
and you're sharing the vision, you're driving the ship. People, I mean, they just don't understand the sacrifices. They only see the
Yeah,
ready-made,
they see the ready-made.
and
not-
don't know the anxiety.
Don't know the anxiety and the
sleepless nights,
sleepless night you
the
go
risks
through,
that you take.
Because even for me, when I started this restaurant and I was going through all different kind of names to name it, someone said to me, "Why you just don't name it Simpson? That's your last name." And it plays in my head for a little while, and I'm like, the Simpson, nobody know me. Yes, I have a big following of people who have catered for, from BB Kings, cook for so many celebrities. People know me from that level, but now I'm gonna brand myself in a prime location with a big sign outside that says the Simpson Restaurant and Bar. People are driving past, "The Simpson? What is that? Is that the cartoon character Simpson?"
I know, right? Yeah.
So for me, after I said the Simpson, I realized that the name started catching on. People start equated with the Simpson, the cartoon,
Yeah.
and because of the fact the Simpson is such a well-known name
Yeah.
already, it was so catching to people, and now the Simpson now is a brand.
Yeah.
So nobody become a brand now. The other day when I spoke to Caesar Palace and they're interested in taking the restaurant into their Las Vegas location, when I was sitting in the board meeting to hear one of the executives say, "We'd love to have the Simpson in our Las Vegas location."
Wow.
To me, I was like, he's not speaking directly at me, he's speaking about the brand.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
He said, "We'd love to have this Simpson."
The Simpson. Yeah.
He didn't say, "We'd love to have you, Mr. Simpson."
He's like the brand.
He said,
yeah.
"We'd love to have the Simpson restaurant in the Las Vegas
Yeah.
location."
It
That
has more of
tells
its
me
own identity.
it has marked its own identity. Same thing with your brand. That's what it is, and that's what a lot of time the regular staff not gonna see it, because
Yeah.
you're gonna have an attorney that comes and work for you who's passionate about their craft, their vision, and their growth that they want for their career is probably gonna see. Say for instance, his name is Williams. His vision one day is gonna say, "I would like to open my own law firm," and it's gonna name the Williams or
Yeah.
whatever he want to
William,
name it.
yeah.
But within the meantime, he's given the Sekou Clarke the 110%.
Yeah.
Because it's also helping him to build his craft and build his talent and his
100%.
expertise. So whenever he moves on, because we all want growth for everybody who comes around me. If I have my bartender, I want my bartender one day to become a bar manager.
Yeah.
I want my bartender one day to say, I want to open a bar like this, Mr. Simpson. And I'm going to give you all the knowledge and guide you the best that I can and sit you down and go one-on-one with you. Say, yes, that's the bar. It's beautiful. But let me tell you what happened also behind all of that operational wise.
The business aspect of it.
The business aspect of it.
Yeah. So tell me this, Chef Simpson. So we spoke about the challenges, which is personnel challenges that you have. Do you have any challenges that, as an entrepreneur, business owner, that is unique to you being an immigrant? So are there any challenges that you think as a business owner, entrepreneur, you are facing or you have faced because you're an immigrant in New York?
Presently, not presently, because now I'm a citizen. I've passed through all the challenges that I remember having in certain things that I couldn't do. You can't go. My first arrest that I got here in America was, and I wouldn't call it arrest, I call it detained, was when I was out of status, had this fake driver's license from St. Thomas, Virgin Island, went to DMV to register it. They recognized it that it was fake, and the next thing I know, I was standing there in the front of the line with two officers standing behind me. Took me to a room in the back and basically grilled me, questioned me. Next thing I know, I was at 161st on Grand Concourse in Holdings. And they arrest me, they asked me where I got it. I say I bought it from somebody. They wanted to know where I got it from. When I didn't tell them, they held me there for the weekend. And then when I went to court, that's the first arrest I got. I spent the weekend. I was arrested a Friday night, didn't get out until
the worst time to get arrested.
Yeah. Oh my God.
On a Friday night.
I was watching, I was hearing them calling names. And even when they came with the food, they came with these little sandwiches, a bologna sandwich. Friday night, I figured I was gonna go home, go eat my oxtail. I'm not feeling that no mind. When they came with it, everybody was grabbing. I'm like, no, I'm good. I hear them calling name and everybody go out. Some come back, some gone. I don't see them come back. I remember one of the guards say, well, if you hear them, if you hear 10 o'clock come and you name the call, you know, say you're in there for the weekend.
Oh my God.
I was stuck for the weekend. Didn't get out.
Traumatizing.
Traumatized. That made me walk the straight line.
Yeah.
3 days inside here, I don't know how people go back like a regular. Because I think they purposely slammed that gate to traumatize you.
Oh, that's really true.
It's a setup.
Them slam it louder.
They slammed that gate to traumatize you, because when he slammed that gate, every time somebody come out, I'm looking at him like, you know that you really didn't have to slam it that hard? It wasn't that difficult to close. I think you tried to send a message, but I got it.
Yeah.
You know, so when I came out, I say, you know what? I went to the judge the morning, and the judge said to me, I explained to the judge, I say, I'm here with my family. My mom, I tell a lie, like my mom filed for me and I was out of status, and the judge said, all right, I'm putting you on a year probation. Don't come back in front of me. Blah, blah, blah. And from that, I walked straight from that.
Wow. And I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because now you are a U.S. citizen. I mean, you had one arrest or a detention.
And it's funny you said that, because that actually stayed on my record up until this day.
Yeah.
What they call it again, that letter that they gave you, there's a word for it. There's a word for that letter that they gave you that they say it stays on your record. Anything you want to do, they want to know about it. Because even when I was getting the liquor license for here, you have to tell them every arrest, even if it come out, you have to tell them.
And you have to have the final disposition.
Disposition.
The final
that was
disposition,
the word I was trying to remember.
And that's the thing when I do a lot of citizenships for my clients is I say, hey, you have to tell me every single arrest. And
You
arrest
can't
doesn't
lie.
You
Let me
cannot
tell you
lie.
this, guys. Listen to this. You
cannot
cannot lie.
lie. Yeah.
Whatever crime or whatever you commit, tell your attorney.
Yeah.
Because trust me, if you lie on it, even when I went for my interview, they asked me about it. I tell them exactly what I did,
Yeah.
what was my name, what was I arrested for, everything, because they know it already.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the path to citizenship, right? You have to prove that you have good moral character, but it's within the 5 years that you apply, right? So there are some arrests that it's only a conditional bar, meaning once you prove that you have rehabilitated your character, you can still apply. But there are also some arrests and convictions that can permanently bar you, right? Such as certain aggravated felonies. But the most important thing I always tell people is just disclose everything, because I have been in citizenship interviews, right, where say it's somebody who has had multiple arrests,
Yeah.
and we're good to go, I'm able to overcome 3, and the person would leave off 1, and then in the middle of the interview they say, hey, we still see this
And that's
this
when
one,
you like,
and then
Yeah.
I am just as surprised as the client, because the client didn't think that they would find it. So even if you get it expunged or sealed, that is only applicable for state issues, but federal immigration is federal. So even if you get arrested for something and get it expunged for immigration purposes, it still will come up and you still have to disclose it. Getting something sealed or expunged is only for jobs and certifications,
Yeah.
and if you're applying to for like a rental property, that's when getting it expunged may be beneficial. But if you're an immigrant, these arrests, no matter how long ago, you have to declare it.
disclose it.
Yeah, and if you don't disclose it, then no, in the interview you're saying no, you have a misrepresentation
Of
made
your
to-
character, yeah,
made to an immigration officer. So definitely, I mean, you're the perfect example of that. I mean, one small thing, it doesn't change your trajectory. It
Yeah.
doesn't change your path to success, because here you are,
Yeah.
and you're a citizen.
Yeah, as long as you're honest and straight up with it, because they tell you, your attorney will tell you from beginning. He said, when you go to an interview, do not lie.
Don't lie.
Whatever they ask you, they already know the answer.
Yes.
You know, they already know the
They
answer.
already know.
They're just trying to check your character as what person that you are and how honest you're going to be.
Yep.
Yep.
So we were on personnel before. Like, that has been a growing issue for most business owners and entrepreneurs. And I know a couple of times we've had conversations about bringing in foreign talent. Like, say,
Yes.
instead of hiring people here, you want to hire talent outside of the country, and that's been on the uptick in my firm. Business owners wanting to bring in specialized talent. Why do you think that has become a need, like especially in your space?
In my space, is like for example, with my location in Atlantic City, the diaspora in Atlantic City, there's not a lot of Caribbean, Jamaican within that cuisine down there for me to find employment. So I can put out in the hat to say I'm looking for a chef with a Caribbean background, know the Jamaican cuisine. No one is there. So this is how I would then reach out to someone from overseas or someone who want to come up. One of my stickler with applying for someone to come up is because you've heard so many stories of, number one, you the employer, you put in the petition to bring up this great chef. You submitted all your paper, all your documents to say that this person is going to be in your care and this person is working with you, and then that person come and run off. And that's one of the things I always worry about. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that so that people can also understand when someone petitioned for you to come up and you run off after 2 weeks, what kind of situation you put that employer in and what you just did to yourself, because now you're out of status.
Absolutely. And before we get to that part, right, and it's, I mean, over the last 2 years, the biggest type of information that I've been trying to get out there is that there are other options other than getting married if that you can transition to the US. Now as a business owner can petition for you. There's the O1 visa, right? If you have extraordinary ability, and yes, that can apply to somebody who is a chef. There's the EB2, whereas if you wanted to petition for somebody that's a specialized chef, you can actually bring them in on a green card, right? There's the H1B for people with advanced degrees. There's the H2B for unskilled workers, and then there's the EB2NIW, whereas a person can directly petition for themselves if they have extraordinary ability, if they have an advanced degree or a skill set that is of national importance that will help the American market. So there are so much more options right now, but I represent people on two sides of the aisle. So I represent and it always happens with the nurses. The nurses who they enter the hospital or medical practice petitions for them for their green card, but they have to sign a contract saying that, hey, if we petition for your green card, you have to work for us for 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
Right? You are locked in, and if you try to break that contract, there is a liquidation clause where you have to pay $20,000-$30,000. So a lot of times I represent the nurses, and I'm like, they got you your green card. If you leave, they can sue you.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the contracts.
That stays on your record. Wherever you go, they're going to find
that stays
you.
on your
Unless
record.
you change your name or you do something to change your identity.
Yeah. And then now I have the clients like yourself who is a business owner who, went through the process to getting a labor certification with the Department of Labor so that you can petition for employees. And then the workers run off or they don't fulfill their end of the bargain. That leaves the employer with a red flag when it comes down to the Department of Labor because they don't know if you did something fraudulent, as if you are in on it to bring, and you're just bringing people here. So that creates huge challenges for people like yourself who went through the process. You're providing an opportunity, and people get selfish. So it's very unfortunate, but those are the consequences on both sides. So I always encourage employers, if you're doing a direct petition for a green card, I encourage them to either do a temporary visa first that is tied to you, like an O1 or an H2B or even H1B. If it's tied to the employer and they try to leave to go to another employer, then it's automatically terminated, and then they're out of status. And what I explain to professionals who come on work visas, right, is that if you go out of status, right, you cannot transition to another work visa. You cannot just go to another employer. It doesn't work that way. If you enter on a certain type of status and you go out of status, you're broken that chain. Right? So now the only options that you're left with is getting married, or if you have a U.S. citizen child that is 21 years or older,
file for you.
or asylum, right? But you cannot just break one work visa, go out of status, and then think that you are going to be able to either just get a work permit by yourself or just transition to another employer. So definitely things to think about. If I definitely love the initiative, but from the business side, as a business owner, when you're petitioning, you definitely have to have contracts in place, because I know other business owners. I mean, I've done petitions for Indian restaurants and French restaurants, and they run into that problem. The Europeans run into that problem of them coming and saying, no, I'm going to start my own thing, or I'm going to leave and go to another restaurant. That creates problems for both sides, contractually, and then with the Department of Labor. All right, so just wrapping up. I mean, this has been very, very insightful in just getting to hear your journey. From the little boy in Clarendon to executive chef to now massive restaurants. What advice would you give to any Jamaican or any immigrant that has these dreams of getting to where you are today?
Oh, wow. I was recently having a conversation with someone, and the person said, Mr. Simpson, you don't even realize what you have done. You have broke the mold to let not even just Jamaican, Caribbean folks all around know that this is possible. This is possible for us to know that you can do this. You can open a restaurant of this caliber in a prime location. You know, so it's about believing in yourself, surround yourself with the right set of people, people who will motivate you, push you to be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
You know, people who see your vision and want to invest in it honestly, because they see that it opened doors. A lot of my staff that works here, they say, Mr. Simpson, you win, we win. You know, we help you to get to the next level. You're taking us with you, and you're opening doors of opportunity for so many other people.
Yeah.
So my restaurant has gotten to where it's bigger than me. It's about my staff.
Yeah.
It's about my staff being able to take care of their family and pay their bills. So for me, my sleepless night is not about the roof over my head anymore or the food on my table anymore. It's about to make sure my staff, when they go to the bank, they can cash their check to take care of their family.
100%.
To make sure that the light stays on, so when they come to work, they can open the door, they can come in, they have all the stuff that they need for them to be successful, to be able to pay the bills. So I have come to realize that this Simpson brand, this restaurant franchise that I'm building becomes bigger than me, because it's like a balloon where you blow it up and there's so much room for it to blow. Why am I gonna stagnate it? So when Caesar came to me and say, we're offering you Las Vegas, when JFK came to me and said, we're offering you Terminal 5, for we would love to see a Simpson inside Terminal 5, who am I to say, no, I'm not gonna let this bloom?
Exactly.
Because I look at it where it's not me looking at it to say, I'm gonna buy a bigger house, I'm gonna ban it. It's me saying, wow, I can employ 50 more people.
Yes.
I can employ another 100 more people. I can provide jobs and employment and future for someone else who wanna open a restaurant.
Yeah.
For someone else who wanna grow their craft and looking for somewhere where they can come in and be the best chef that they can, to one day they can move on to open their own restaurant. So that's why, to me, I've put in the work, I've put in the sleepless night, I'm still putting in the sleepless night.
Absolutely, it doesn't stop.
And I'm still putting in the work to make sure that this dream and this vision that I have, to say, I want a place, because I look at it like this. I look at the TGI Friday, I look at the Red Lobster, I look at the Applebee's, I look at the Olive Garden, I look at all these chains of restaurant. As much I love my Golden Crust, it's a different ambience of what I'm providing.
Yeah.
I want to see the Simpson as a part of, just like how you see the chains of Applebee's, the chains of TGI Friday, it should also be the Simpson.
Yeah. Bigger vision.
And a bigger vision. So my vision is for it to be that level, to where people are like, oh, whoa, is there a Simpson here? Oh, I heard that there's one here. But at the same time, keeping it to a standard where it's gonna stand out and not just become another typical restaurant. That's where the work comes in.
Yeah.
Because you wanna separate yourself from another Jamaican restaurant down the block.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much of those.
Yeah.
You wanna put yourself in a position where the dignitaries, the celebrities, you want to come out. The regular people want to come out to a great environment.
Yeah.
Great food, great entertainment, great interaction. You know, smell the weed, nobody not twerk, no craziness not happening.
Yeah.
It's just a great place to come out and have a good time with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
For me, when I see it busy and packed, and I stand back and I watch it, I transition back to when the little boy did stand up at the back doorstep.
Yeah.
And I watch the people. That's what I'm now seeing on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
But a lot of time my guest comes here and they will see me standing over in one corner just looking, and I can see them pointing and they're like, oh, that's the one over there.
Yeah.
They don't even see what's going through my head. What's going through my head is 48 years ago. That was
So hold
a
on
little
one
boy.
moment. Let me put a pin right there. If you could go back right now to that little boy standing on the step,
Yeah.
and you could tell him one thing, what would you tell him?
If I could go back and tell that little boy, because you know what? That question is deep. Because I transition, I'm gonna careful not to get emotional because I tell myself I've transitioned to that little boy so many times.
Yeah.
And I remember I could tell him that keep believing. Keep believing. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Everything that you're going through right now,
Yeah.
everything that you're going through right now is a part of God's plan. And it's a part of the process. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the pain. Everything that you're going through, you're gonna look back. Because I can almost see myself patting him on the shoulder right now
Wow.
and tell him, standing at this back door step, you're not just anchoring for you. You're not anchoring for you. You're anchoring for a generation of people that you're gonna help 50 years from now.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what I tell him.
Wow.
50 years from now.
Wow. And I have to ask you one last question, kind of switching it a little bit. The elections are coming up,
Yes.
right, in November. How do you see either party impacting New York and immigration? Or do you even have an opinion?
There's this election is this one. I think Kamala, the elections have a lot to do with moving forward, moving forward on a lot of things. And when it comes down to politics, I'm very tricky about it. So moving forward, I think Ms. Harris has a good vision for where we want to go. And she don't see the immigrants as what the other party see us, come from this whole country and that whole country, and they need to ship back and we need to do this. I don't look at people like that.
Yeah.
So I am a part of, I want to be a part of the party that want us to all get along. Immigrants build this United States. You know, they play a key role in it. So any party who's going to side with the immigrants and saying, you know what, I understand about protecting the border because it's almost just the same way like your house.
Absolutely.
You build a fence around, you don't want people have jumping at your yard. We understand it. You're
So
gonna
you are
control
for
it.
legal immigration, people
I am
doing it the
for
right way.
legal immigration. The people are doing it the right way.
Yeah.
But also you have people who are going through certain things and they come through, but at the same time they want asylum because of whatever is going on in their country,
Yeah.
whatever is going on, but still go through the legal path.
Yeah.
That's what I'm for. So with the election coming up, I'm for the party who stand with the immigrants and giving them a legal part to citizenship the
Yeah.
right way, but at the same time control the border
Yeah.
so we can also control the flow.
Being responsible about it.
Being responsible about
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason why I brought that up was recently when I was in Jamaica doing an immigration summit, it was a big topic as to how does the impact affect immigrants coming into the country. And my opinion was no matter which party it is, there will be changes.
There will
right?
be changes, yeah.
If it's the Republican Party, you know, there will be more restrictions
Yes.
on immigrants, right? There will be more restrictions in terms of the different procedures that are available to say bringing a parent here or even having birthright citizenship versus getting naturalized,
Yeah.
right? However, there will be more pathways for specialized educated immigrants,
Yes. Yeah.
right? If it's a Democratic party, we'll see more concessions, more procedures for the South Americans. You know, we'll
Yeah.
see tighter restrictions at the border. But immigration, based on history, may be a little bit more relaxed and controlled. But I think both sides can agree that some change needs to happen.
Some change needs to happen.
Right, because you still have, I mean, over 20 million immigrants here that are undocumented, who came here legally and are other status but are now restricted.
And we're missing so much in tax because
we're missing
so much in tax because they honestly want to work and they want to pay their taxes.
Yeah.
They want to work. It's they pay their way to citizenship.
Yeah.
They don't want to work under the radar. I've spoke to so many of them that they want to pay their tax. So there's so much that the country's missing from just all the restriction.
So something needs to be done, but you know, I'm always a big advocate for we as immigrants, we are people, we're not less than anybody else, regardless of your documentation. You're still human beings, and unfortunately people are treated less than, because I used to feel that way, feel less than, you know, so there need to be concessions for the people that are already here, and definitely controlling the border, but there needs to be a pathway for all the people that are already here.
You know, one of the things, and I know we're going to have to make this a two-part series. It's good conversation. And one of the things that I saw, even when I go to, just like I said, when I go to Home Depot, and sometimes I'll pull over, and I try to think. I'm looking at the guys standing out there. A lot of time it's the Africans guys, and they're standing out there, and out you see them sit down, and they sit down, and you're trying to put yourself into their thoughts.
100%.
Like. Here you are, you may be driving a nice car, you live in a nice house, and you sit there and you like, what is going through their mind? Where do they see themselves? Here you are in a country, no home, no belong, you're in a strange place, you don't know from here to point A to point B. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? You're all the status. So because of the fact I can transcend myself back into being in that position, that thought that they're in right now, it makes it a little bit more easier for me. So that's why when I hear people come out and speak about things that you have never experienced.
Correct.
I take that personal.
Absolutely.
You've never been homeless, you've never been hungry, you never go to a neighbor house and beg for food. I remember when I was growing up, I never had toys.
Yeah.
I used to have to wait until my next door neighbor kids finished play with their toys. They used to leave them out on the veranda. We used to call it a Jamaican.
Veranda, yeah.
Them lift them up on the veranda, and at night time, 8 o'clock when them lock and them gone in at the house, me creep under the fence and up on the veranda play with the little toy truck them and the little toy car with my little next door neighbor them would left outside. I never had toys. So I never had a birthday where I blow out a birthday cake.
Wow.
So when you look back on people who have never experienced certain things that people are going through on a day-to-day, and you can have all the big talk and all the negative to spur at that person, I take that personal.
Yeah. And I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So in wrapping up, you know, just an amazing conversation with not only a Jamaican or a fellow immigrant, but a successful business owner, entrepreneur. I mean, he's been through all the phases from entering the country legally, then going out of status, to then working his way up, to then taking a big risk, right?
Yep.
And having it jump off, having two now almost three locations.
Almost 3 locations, yep.
And you know, just still giving back, still going through the challenges of scaling a business and growing, but the vision has now taken on its own identity and it's now bigger than him.
Yeah.
But the greatest thing of all is where you start, it doesn't impact how you finish. You determine how you finish. Just because you might have one obstacle, it doesn't shape you. It doesn't determine the outcome of your life. It doesn't determine the next chapter. So, great for my viewers. Just inspiration to me as well, as a fellow Jamaican. Much respect, and looking forward to talk to you some more.
It's definitely a pleasure.
Blessings.
You know, I'm gonna leave Jamaicans and all over the world, because this show is gonna be all over the world. Just to let you guys know, listen, two Jamaicans right here.
Yeah.
We support each other. The cameraman behind the scene, a fellow Jamaican. And you surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with the right set of people. People who want more for you than you even want for yourself. They see the greatness in you and they're gonna push you, you know. But when you come along a part of someone else's dream, be the best version that you can be within that person. You know, doors gonna close in life.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? You're gonna stay there and look at the closed door? You may pass many doors that is open. Go into one of them. But whatever you do, don't give up on your dreams.
At all.
Don't give up on your vision. Whatever you want. I remember, I used to be the little boy who used to look on the plane wondering where that plane going. And the first time I went on one, it was first class. And now I am at the level where if I want, I can purchase a plane.
Yeah.
But that's not what I want. My vision right now is bigger than me.
Yeah.
My vision now is to provide future for fellow guys like yourself, fellow man and woman who want to pursue their dream, who want to pursue their ambition, who have aspiration, more what they want. So I am still having the sleepless night so that you can take care of your family, you can pay your bills, you can pursue your dreams and go to school and go to training, whatever I want. And I'm gonna use my platform to give you the best support that I possibly can, because right now it's bigger than me.
All right. That's it.
That's it.
That's
It's
it.
a wrap.
It's a wrap.
We're going to eat some food.
Yes.
All right.